Welcome back to another explainer. Look, today we're doing something a little bit special. We're going to learn exactly how to construct a legendary sports narrative by, well, deconstructing the greatest one ever told. Because if you want to know how to write sports history, you absolutely have to study it. And honestly, there is no better case study for us than the 1967 European Cup. All right, let's jump right in with a massive curiosity hook. We did it by playing football. Pure, beautiful, inventive football. That's Celtic manager Jock Stein right after his team pulled off the impossible in that '67 final. As a reader, your brain instantly demands to know, wait, who did they beat? And what made their style so uniquely beautiful? That right there, that is exactly how you open a story.
So, here's our roadmap for mastering sports journalism through this historic clash between Celtic and Inter Milan. We're hitting the art of the hook, profiling the underdogs, the feature game story, breaking the door bolt, and finally, the cultural opinion column. Let's get to it.
Starting off with Section 1, the art of the hook and grabbing the reader's attention. It's simple, really. Every great story needs an opening that makes people literally drop what they're doing and read on.
So, writers use very specific hooks and frameworks to actually structure the narrative. According to content expert Neil O'Grady, the best hooks trigger real psychological responses. We're talking curiosity, surprise, and credibility. You take those and you map them onto standard story types. Whether that's a straight lead, a feature, a profile, a preview, or an opinion column, it delivers exactly what your reader's craving.
Now talk about a surprise hook. 11. That's the number of Celtic players who conquered Europe in 1967. And get this, all 11 were born within a 30-mile radius of Glasgow. Seriously, Bobby Lennox was the furthest out at 30 miles in Saltcoats. Tommy Jamel was 11 miles away, and the rest were basically neighbors. It's one of those thumb-stopping facts that perfectly hooks you into this wild story of a purely homegrown team taking on the absolute giants of world football.
Which brings us right to Section 2, profiling the underdogs. It's all about making the players human. And we'll see how that human interest totally elevates the drama on the pitch.
You see, a profile story really zooms in on a specific character, maybe a rookie, a mastermind coach, or an unsung hero. It builds a deep, emotional connection. Because think about it, instead of just rattling off final scores and sterile stats, a profile dives into the human side. It gives us all someone to really root for.
And man, you can feel the sheer determination here. Profiling a player instantly cranks up the tension. Take Celtic midfielder Bobby Murdoch. Early in the final, an Inter player steps heavily on his right foot. His ankle swells to literally twice its size, but his captain, Billy McNeil, drops this famous quote. He would have played on with his leg hanging off if need be. Highlighting Murdoch like that, it instantly grounds this almost mythical legend in raw, human grit.
You also build up that underdog narrative by mapping out their grueling cross-continental journey. Just look at the gauntlet Celtic ran to reach that final. Dominating Zurich and Nantes, then scraping past Vojvodina and Dukla Prague in these really tight, tense battles. Showing this progression proves the immense physical and mental toll it took just to earn the right to stand on that pitch in Lisbon. Moving on to Section 3, the feature game story, taking a different angle on the action. This format is all about tactical battles, atmosphere, and drama, rather than just spoiling a final score the fans probably already know.
Now, to write a truly captivating feature, you absolutely need agonizing conflict, and understanding the impenetrable Italian Catenaccio defense, well, that sets the stage perfectly. Literally translating to doorbolt, Catenaccio was this highly rigid defensive system used by Inter manager Helenio Herrera. It relied on ruthless man-marking and a deep libero, or sweeper, to mop up literally any mistake. I mean, this system was an absolute machine, completely designed to stop attacking football dead in its tracks.
And a feature story thrives on this kind of high-contrast framing. On one side, you have the unyielding Italian doorbolt, rigid, mathematical, almost survivalist. On the flip side, Celtic's fluid, chaotic battering ram of an offense. Their winger, Jimmy Johnstone, famously called it speed-it-up Dutch. It is the ultimate clash of footballing philosophies.
Which inevitably leads us to Section 4, breaking the doorbolt, the climax of the match. This is where our feature story hits its peak, the absolute destruction of the Italian defense under the Lisbon sun.
Get this, before the climax even hit, Celtic racked up a staggering 39 attempts on goal. 39, winning corner after corner, just relentlessly chipping away at the physical and mental spirit of the Italian defenders. Meanwhile, Inter's keeper, Giuliano Sardi, was having the game of his life just trying to keep them out.
At that point, it wasn't even a match anymore. It was a pure, exhausting siege of attrition.
So let's watch how this pressure finally shatters the defense in the 84th minute. We can take the reader second by second through the sheer chaos of Stevie Chalmers' historic goal. Phase 1, a vertical threat drops into the box from a Billy McNeil header, completely scrambling the defense's geometry. Phase 2, the death of the libero. Armando Piqué gets trapped in the physical meat grinder of the penalty area, his safety net is just gone. And Phase 3, the poacher's instinct. As the ball ping-pongs around, Chalmers, who, fun fact, was actually a dentist by trade, reacts purely on instinct and toe-pokes the winner right into the net.
This whole tactical breakdown proves something really important. Catenaccio couldn't be beaten by predictable passing or elegant sequences. No way. It was beaten by these 3 steps of sheer attrition-based attacking. Committing to high-intensity vertical pressing, maintaining width to stretch the defense, and just flooding the box with bodies to force unguardable chaos. Because, as any great sports writer will point out, you simply cannot man-mark a random rebound in a totally crowded penalty box.
The dust settles, bringing us to our final act, Section 5, the cultural opinion column. Here we look at legacy, impact, and the lasting ripples of a legendary match.
An opinion column zooms out from the pitch entirely. This format is where the sports writer shares their own perspective to explain the immense cultural weight of an underdog's victory. It really answers the single most crucial question for your reader: why does this game actually matter in the grand scheme of things?
Because the legacy of 1967 was so much bigger than just lifting a silver trophy. Yes, Celtic became the first British club to win the European Cup, but zooming out, this victory totally transformed the global perception of Scotland. It shifted the narrative from this gloomy, industrial stereotype to showcasing a genuinely exuberant, charismatic nation. It cemented the immortal legacy of the Lisbon Lions for sure, but it also proved to the entire world that pure, inventive, attacking football can actually triumph over defensive cynicism.
As we wrap up this masterclass in sports storytelling, I want to leave you with a thought to chew on. Are modern defensive systems more robust against this kind of attrition-based attacking? Or is the high-pressing, volume-shooting approach still the absolute best way to break down a parked bus today? Think about how the tactical and narrative lessons from way back in 1967 still apply to the beautiful game we're all watching right now. Keep analyzing, keep writing, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.